Along the lines of speaking slowly and consciously, understanding what I'm saying, what other people are saying, and then how I'm responding, also has taught me another paradigm shift of where I limit myself and attach to low self-worth. And this is individual, so I'm going to try to explain it the best that I can from myself. But for so long, I used to just say things or do things that, didn't necessarily care about, or bought things that, were less expensive than the things that were really expensive because I didn't feel I deserved them. I did things that I thought would get me love and attention when it was really just feeding the low self-worth of not being able to say no, or what I truly wanted in the moment, or saying something that I truly wanted in the moment that might upset someone else. And again, it kind of goes back to that victim. Like, are you speaking weakly? Are you speaking weakly to yourself, to others?
Like WEAK.
Yes.
Not are you checking in every week and speaking to yourself? Just to be clear.
No, and what I realized, the biggest shift here, what I realized is the way that I was speaking to myself and the way that I was doing things either for other people and not myself, I was unconsciously feeding this subconscious pattern of I didn't matter. Like, you don't matter. It gets kind of, I'll give a good, this is kind of a quirky example, but say you and your friends, family, whoever, get a big Airbnb vacation house. There's 4 bedrooms, 4 beds, but you got 5 people. I would raise my hand and be the first and be like, oh, it's okay. I'll sleep on the couch. Don't worry. I don't want to fucking sleep on a couch, but I didn't feel I deserved a bed. How many people can resonate with that? I feel like you would do that too. Like, I want to be the nice person and I'm going to sacrifice my needs. I'll sleep on the couch. It's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine anymore. Not for me, I'm saying, because I matter, and what I want matters. And I want to reinforce that I am worthy. I am happy. I am healthy. I am abundant. The energy also that I put into myself that's loving and accepting is going to project back out elsewhere.
Yeah. I think there's a huge difference between being nice and being of service versus self-sacrifice and like hiding. And I think that very often those get conflated. We think it's humility to be the one that's like, oh, I'll sleep on the couch, that's fine.
Yeah.
And like to like not know your worth. But it's very different.
And you also hear those people, oh, they're so easygoing. They'll just do whatever. Do they actually want to just do whatever? I mean, it's a whole psychological thing, but it's interesting. I know people who are pegged like that, and it broaches the question, where's their self-worth? Do they have it? Are they able to recognize it within themselves? Something else that has been, it's something little, but it was really something I wanted to change, because again, I'm creating this reality and I don't want to settle anymore. Settling goes hand in hand with the way that I speak to myself, what I watch, who I read, how I read. In the mornings, my favorite, I love having coffee in the mornings, but we're here at, my brother's house still. And all of our stuff, our belongings that we purchased are still in storage because we didn't think we were going to be here that long. So I'm not utilizing any of the things that light me up, that get me excited, that I bought to utilize. So every morning I'm using coffee mugs that are my mother's, and they're not my cup of tea, pun intended there. And it was really upsetting me. But I kept doing, I did it for 18 months until a couple weeks ago, I went and bought a mug for myself because I was settling. I was telling myself, you don't matter. Just keep using the mugs. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? well, apparently I do care. I didn't realize it. I've used this mug every single day from, I don't even put it in the dishwasher. I wash it and I am so excited. I don't even care that I'm using the same mug. It lights me up.
Mhm.
And I feel so much of my life. And I think a lot of other people, we do these things unconsciously, settling, just saying it's okay. Oh, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I'll use this. And it makes me sad because I now I understand the feeling and the worth that I've given myself in these moments, as opposed to the unworthiness of how I felt before and how I was reinforcing that.
Yeah. And it's like the vibrational frequency of the act plays a huge role in the effect it has on your life. So, like the coffee mug is a good example. Maybe some people like really don't care. And
Yeah.
it's like, I just want coffee. I'll drink it out of anything. And their mood doesn't change. Like they don't, nothing changes whether they're drinking it out of like their hands or they're drinking out of like a nice mug. Like it could be anything. And like there's plenty of people like that. But if, like in your instance, it really bothers you to drink out like mug that's like way too big or goofy or awkward or whatever the issue is with it, and you just don't like it, but every day it's like, oh, like it's I don't like this, but it's not worth it. And like that's sacrificing yourself. That's dimming your light, and that is, like I think you said, reinforcing narrative, like this negative narrative about yourself of like I'm not worthy of having the things that I want. Exactly. It's the same, even like the example of like being the person who sleeps on the bed. Some people will feel better about themselves in their life if they do sleep on the couch and let everybody else have the bed. And like that's a great thing and it's nice quality. And they'll wake up feeling like I did a good thing today. I'm really happy everybody slept well. And other people will toss and turn on a couch all night, being like, oh, I can't believe I'm on the couch again. One of these days I'm getting a bed. And that is reinforcing a pattern of like neglecting yourself and not standing up for yourself. Again, another like kind of cool example is like shopping, and I definitely like grew up very much with like this like scarcity mindset. So even when I do decide, okay, like I'm gonna go shopping and buy myself some clothes, and maybe like there's a shirt I really want, and I'll look at it like, it's more money than I want to spend on a shirt. I plan on spending that money anyway, but you could get 3 shirts that aren't as good for the same money. And then it's sort of like it's like you start leaning into this like quantity over quality mentality, where you end up and like I would go to the store and I'd like have a thing in my hand and put it back so I could get 2 things that cost the same amount. And like it's like almost like, how strategic can I be with the money I was planning on spending today to get the most stuff so that I feel safe knowing that I'm not going to run out of stuff. And then I go home with a bag full of things that are okay. And it's like, yeah, it works. But I would much rather have that one shirt that I wanted. And I'd feel better. And every time I put that shirt on, I would feel good about myself, rather than every time I put on like a cheap shirt that I got so I can have more shirts and then feeling like I'm only worthy of cheap shirts. And it comes down to like value. It's like, do you value yourself and the things that you like? Do you value having nice things? Or do you value having a lot of things so that you don't run out of things, even though you don't like them?
That's a fabulous example. I'm really glad you brought it up, actually, because we can kind of full circle talk about this entire episode from that clothing example.
Okay.
Everything is energy.
Yeah.
The energy and subconscious belief that you had of lack, that's replaying in your mind. So it was just reinforcing not having the self-worth to buy one nice thing as opposed to 2 lesser nice things. So then we talked a lot about like the I am affirmations. You didn't feel worthy enough.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He wasn't that. Then in your mind, because your ego's trying to play off of what's happened in the past and how you grew up in a lack mentality, you created from your thought patterns, which is words, a scenario in your mind to buy 2 shirts instead of 1. And then again, coming back to what we were just talking about, it's reinforcing the I'm not good enough. And it's like that's the wheel that we're all on. And it's like, how do you stop it? It's like you've got to interrupt the pattern. So it was even like this scenario didn't happen. I know it didn't. You're just giving it as an example, but to stop it, to do it differently, to create a different version of you, is to in the moment consciously understand that you need to match the energy of wealth so that you can interrupt the pattern in your brain, create the you that you are thinking of in the future in the now moment by buying the 1 expensive shirt as opposed to 2.
Yeah.
Even though it might kill you inside. It's like that's how you know the change is going to happen, because it's a scary, uncomfortable, like, holy shit. But that's did I kind of full circle?
Yeah, I think that was amazing. Yeah. And it's in that, like in the present moment, right? I'm breaking up what I had mentioned, I had talked about before. We have this like illusion of a linear past that is creating each moment. And there's no way like this past of like always buying the cheap shirts would act if I kept following that pattern. I would live my entire life as a version of myself that wears cheap shirts.
Exactly.
But it's so when I was talking before about you, and you just said it like really well, but it's like we attach to that future potential that wears nice shirts, and it's like, well, what would he do in this moment? It's obviously it wouldn't be buy a cheap shirt; it would be buy a nice shirt. So, and then that from that moment cuts off the entire illusion of the past, because in this moment, all that matters is what's happening in the moment.
And you're connecting to the energy of wealth, money, riches, whatever it may be for you. Again, like
absolutely. And then so in that moment, it's like you're connecting to the energy, you're connecting to the potential, you're pulling something into the field. It's going to change the way you talk to yourself. It's going to change the way you think and feel.
And everything. It's a moment. It's 1 moment. You are deciding in 1 moment.
Yeah.
Isn't that so cool? That is also, I feel like we didn't really touch upon it within these within this podcast, but that is, I think, the most powerful thing. You get to choose. Having all of these paradigm shifts that have helped us, and we hope that are going to help other people too. It's like you get to choose, and you can choose differently. If you choose the same, like that's also okay. You're at least now aware of it and can consciously choose different the next time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like just being aware of your choices is the first step to making better choices.
Yes.